Hey, you! Before we start, just wanted to say this video is heavily inspired by CamiBoyG and Snarlinger's ranking Deltarune ships video, as well as Jaru's. I watched it and convinced my friend B to do this with me. Quick introductions, because we didn't. I'm Bat, I go by he, they, and the Noel sprite is B, who goes by they, them. They're also the wonderful artists behind the sprites and thumbnail. Yes, their comms are open and they'd be happy to take any. Enjoy the video, and if you are a little white dog, make sure you take notes. Okay, bye.
Thanks to the kitty. So
first, wait, okay. Just to preface, if anyone is like, you hate my favorite ship, I don't care that much. Like,
I take it back. I love it.
Yeah, as long as it's not like crazy,
yeah.
Then like just do what you want. I don't really care. That's saying, starting off, what the hell is this? This is like all of the, I almost called them the Addison Rays.
Say what you will about
the pink one is the best one.
There's two yellow hued coated. I don't know, I feel like there's a rivalry that will go aside from their terrible history.
Do they have terrible history? I know that they don't like Spamton.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Also the way that we
how dare you. We're all rooting for you.
Oh, would that go in D?
But do you care?
I don't give a
do you care? You're so mad, but because you're so mad you care so much. S tier. I don't like it. I hate it, in fact. I really don't like it. No, because I'm
is it an F?
Yes.
Okay.
Because here's the thing. If it was just like one of them, and they were with like a positive character that would change them for good, they're all bitches. So stewing in it.
It wouldn't be a happy polyamorous relationship. It would just be a miserable one where they're all upset.
A cult. A cult.
The woke agenda.
Yes. They are.
The woke agenda of the Addison
But they're
Rays.
conservatives.
Yeah. Look at their like little sweaters. We are too long. There's too much time on
There's
them.
11,000 of them.
The pink one and Spamton. What about the pink one is so special?
You know what?
I'm not upon the law.
These I hate. These I hate. But here's the problem with this one. Direct bully. So what are you doing?
You think the pink one bullies Spamton directly?
No, I mean like if it was the pink one with a character that could change them for the better, but it's with the victim. Cold.
This is like actual abuse.
Yeah, I hate it. He was in a trash can, dog.
Oh, that's true. They weren't very nice. They did try and like were like, oh, we went to see him. And
but it sucks because it's like when bitches at school are like, you're this, and then you run crying, and then they're like, we tried to soothe it. Bro, no, you didn't. You spat. You spat at Spamton.
This pink one is giving mean gay.
Yes!
The thing that's like, the evil twink will pay, the evil twink will pay. That's him.
Yeah, so...
And I can say that.
So hypothetically, I would put it in D just for like the dynamic thing, but I know you're an asshole.
So it's F.
So if it was literally the yellow one...
So it's F, but it's above the polyamory.
Okay. Yeah. S tier.
We haven't started smoke. Specifically from Deltarune. We're ignoring Undertale. This is specifically from Deltarune.
No, it's crazy. Oh my god, because in that lore, imagine your dad, your divorced dad is
too much.
Fucking your teacher. This would put me over that. Me as Chris, I would become the knight. Whatever the theory is, I don't care. I am becoming the knight and I'm cutting them down.
She does have a thing for him.
I know. That's not my problem.
Which I get.
Which she can, because I get it.
Hot. I love asgore.
In the OG, at the very least, she's like this, just like absolute loser, and he's like, oh.
He's just like, he's kind of depressed.
Here, you're gunning down on this, just like, well, he's awesome, but just some gardener guy. You're gonna ruin a whole family dynamic for this.
You know what I think is it's bad as well, because I think they would just feed each other's misery.
Yes, because
he would just be like, I miss my wife, I'm sad.
Yeah.
She would just be like, I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
And it would just be...
And his form of comfort wouldn't even be like coping through it, talking through it. It would just be like endless like words of praise, because he thinks that's what she needs, and she would just be like, well, that doesn't fix anything.
Yeah, no, I think this is maybe D.
D. I care about them emotionally, but this...
Ralphus and Undyne, specifically from Deltarune. So there's that bit at the end of like chapter 2 where you can like, it's implied that they, I guess, find each other physically attractive, and you can get like Undyne to give Alphys roses or something. Like something like that happens. I'll put it somewhere. Something like that happens.
For the viewers at home, I've been nodding this entire time.
Yeah, I care about them, and I would like to see them together, but it's not at the forefront of my mind in Deltarune.
The cop.
The cop. There is also
the cop.
That they made Undyne a cop, which
Toby Fox, will you address this in chapter 3?
I mean, like a C. That sounds really harsh. I really like them,
because we're just
we've explored it in Undertale.
Yeah, if I came into this series exclusively and you were like them, I'd be like, when?
Why?
When and why?
It wouldn't even be like this is interesting because they've never met like Crackship, which we'll get to later. It's just kind of like, I don't know, like what are we?
Honestly, in Undertale, it's kind of boring. It's kind of boring in Undertale.
We're gonna get dark.
Thus far, sorry. I mean, I love. Bro, put a voice over what I said. It's kind of awesome, awesome and enjoyable.
We love it. So like S, C, S.
So I love it. Dogs.
What is this? What does this mean? Does this mean Toby Fox and Temmie? Does this mean the characters that represent them in the game?
You speaking with so much hand about these dogs, which I love.
Are they
children? No, she's going to college and he's like an extraterrestrial dog.
This Temmie is in Chris's class.
F.
Yeah, I think it's weird. And if we're talking about shipping the real people, I don't even want to get into that.
Okay.
Oh dear.
Here we are.
You're gonna be like, okay, go on.
You don't even know what I'm about to be like. You're like, I knew it. Undertale is crazy to speculate about that relationship. Not that it's crazy bad, but it's like it's insane because there's so much.
There's just so much going on.
And this one is like, maybe I wouldn't say simpler per se, but I'm like, you know what? Child murder isn't directly involved in why they got
as far
divorced.
as we know, unless he like killed Des or something.
This is pre-chapter 3, so controversial. Be alright.
Wait, okay, do you want them to get back together, or do you just like the dynamic of their relationship?
Here's the thing. Depending on Toby Fox's writing, I do trust him, but what I do enjoy is that like they're divorced. They are divorced. They've been through so much. They understand each other the most. Me and divorced couples in media is like a very thin. Whoa, okay, bottle is a thin line. They have an awesome dynamic. I love it. I don't think I want to. I don't know if I want to get them.
Do you remember? So this is like a side thing, but do you remember that one? And I don't know the artist, and I don't know anything about it. If they turned out to be weird, I don't know. But like, and they did like Undertale, like the characters, but they were all children. And there was like those comics that they would do, and it would be like asgore being like, "I love you, Tario."
It's insane.
That got me like weird in the brain as a child. I remember.
Crazy because you said, "Do you remember?" And what I was thinking, I was like, "Oh, is it like the child are you?" And I was like,
yes.
"Surely not. He's not gonna."
Surely is.
It surely is.
B. I get it. I don't necessarily want them to get back together.
Not in this universe.
That's not what I'm saying.
Either.
But I enjoy looking at their dynamic.
That being said, B isn't just necessarily they're like OTP in the sense of what they have is the best.
No.
I want to see this more on screen.
Yeah. And I want Sans to be there.
Oh, Sans has to witness it. He's the fire, he's the force, he's the one that's watching it.
You're in the wind.
I'm in the
water. Oh my god. They need to no, because I genuinely would be so okay with this being the new Undyne and Alphys.
So I could not agree
I have thought about
more.
This because I've been like, I bet that there is a couple that we can get together in like hometown, but I bet you it's not necessarily Alphys and Undyne.
Oh.
And I'll come back to this later on because I had a first thought of who I thought it was going to be, and I'll get back to them. But it could be them also.
I agree.
Unless Rudy dies.
Their dynamic is so interesting because, first of all, we already know enough about asgore, so we already have a bias. So whatever atrocities he commits, not as in like, but you know, not that we'll overlook it, but we'll hear him out.
We don't care.
Yeah,
we love him.
He, like, oh my god, come on, like he's bedridden and such an incredible dad as well.
Yeah,
I would argue that if it wasn't for the main plot. And also the familiar plot, and also every like side tangent, Easter egg connection to the main game, which I know that's not what we're supposed to be expecting, but there's gonna be extra. If we took all of that away, they are the most interesting dynamic that I want to see play out.
And like, not only is like obviously we get hints of it, like the alarm clock. Do you know about the alarm clock dialogue?
I think so.
When like in like the cancelled alarm clock dialogue, and asgore was like, because in the Undertale universe, he's dead already.
Yeah.
And Asgore's like, oh, he was the Rudolph to my Santa or something, which is gay. And then like when he's like, oh, Asgore's such a fruit, and like, just take me to the prom already, Asgore. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, exactly.
It is a little dubious. And I think that the kids would be fine with it.
Well, they would be fine with it, but every like Chris and Noelle shipper is like, oh fuck.
Oh,
yeah,
there is that.
But I guess in this universe, it's Noelle and Susie.
What is going on with these fuck-ass Addison Rays?
You know what?
If there's some lore or some fan fiction, I'm sorry. I just don't know about it. I don't know. I care if I read
this
like a
pink
fanfiction.
gay one versus this
is just
blue.
This is just boy girl ex
boy girl. Yeah.
Fuck that. I don't
Heartstopper. Next. True. B. I do care.
And I
still do care.
And I think I ship them more because they hate each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did them justice as far as NPCs that are just supposed to be like, remember this thing? I still care. They're not like my I don't think about them daily. I'm glad they're still
dialogue,
present.
and I know this is not to do with them being a ship, but the dialogue where Bratty, when she's like, oh, and I kissed Asriel, and then Toriel had like a Christian moment over it. I was like, that's so funny. So this is Asriel and Des.
Oh.
Yeah, this is not Asriel and a guitar. Either Des is dead or missing, or I don't know, he's stuck in the code
there,
or whatever,
Delilah.
or like with Gaster. What if no one has thought? What if Des is Gaster?
That would be scary, and we have to put this in F instantly.
If Des is Gaster and I've called it now, then I'm not saying that it's true. I'm just
We're
saying.
uploading this tonight, and
Toby Fox is gonna comment and be like, true.
well, yes.
It's gonna be like Scott Cawthon when he'd be like, have you noticed how Chica's beak is missing? And I'll be mad.
Turn the saturation up.
Okay, I think that I can see it being a thing. And like the bit where Noelle's like, oh, and they would always like look after us, and like I can see it, but to me it's like I don't have enough substance for it, so I would probably put it in C. Very girl next door, very like, you belong with me. But what is this now?
So I have a few questions because in
I was into the cave. Thou art my boyfriend. I don't really know what this is meant to imply.
F by.
I just don't care. Now this
is a crazy one.
This could probably eat. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, this is in Undertale, this is the shopkeeper.
That's what I'm assuming.
And in this universe, she is the cafe owner of the cafe where, like, Toriel used to come in with Asgore and the kids. So she's known them. It would be kind of awesome.
I think it's kind of hot. Here's why.
It is hot because they're both MILFs.
I think the shopkeep, like, okay, presenting wise, conservative-esque leaning.
They're very Christian.
So freaky. Tori will be like, oh my, and she's the one who's like, no, it's okay to be shy. Love it so much.
And you know what? You know what is awesome? And this is full, like, shout-outs to...
Woo woo. Tag them here.
Yes, I
we'll find you.
Being like, oh, the reason that Asgore and Toriel split up is because Asgore had an affair with Rudy, which I love. But you know what's even more awesome? I'm setting the scene. They're at the diner, and Toriel and Miss whoever she is, Miss Bunny. I'm gonna draw Miss Bunny, and like they're going to sit down, and like Miss Bunny sees Toriel, and she's like, "What is this feeling so sudden and new?" And then like they're sat down, and she brings over like their food and stuff, and then Toriel's like, "Oh, you're so sweet, thank you." And they both kind of have like a good luck babe moment, and they like have a thing, and then they have the affair. That's why they
insane. But Toriel still holds the moral high ground.
Yes,
that's crazy,
and that's really awesome.
And that is an interesting.
And Toriel's the knight because she can't handle the fact that she's a lesbian. I'm kidding.
And that's why Chris is the way they are. They're like, what the fuck? Everyone's
Gaster is like giggling from the code.
Gaster fucking does. But
I think this is B.
Really? I would even say it's A. In fact, I'm so
it's A.
It was B when we started talking.
It's A.
You turned it into an A by the end of the conversation.
So this is Jevil and like that Pokemon guy. I don't know who that is, so I don't know what to say.
Well, it's Jevil, so for me it's an immediate
This is people
D.
who want to fuck clowns.
Yeah, so...
Which is fine if that's your thing, but I don't know who these people
If you're
are.
listening, I'm so happy for you. We don't do that. And I'm not interested in a polyamorous clown thing right now. But okay.
Right now, maybe
so,
later.
Well, we'll consider.
So Sans and Jevil.
So
What is
crack way or
what is
like
the basis?
for real?
What is the basis of this? What they could do with those tongues?
Self-awareness.
So, like, Jevil has canonically got that tongue. Sans has, like, in fanfiction got that tongue. And we just wanted to see what they could do with each other's tongues.
Sooner or later, they'll know.
Sooner or later. We can't make reference to that. Why would it be real? If it's real...
Undertale / Deltarunes.
That's true.
It's so real.
Oh, wait, is a thing.
I'll save this for you. Thanks. I would love to rattle your bones. Blush.
So they are f***ing in this.
I think I hate it. Actually, I think it's so scary. And it's not just because everything to do with chaos. Chaos makes me...
Oh, yeah, you're scared of Jevil.
Yeah.
So I think that's why you...
Maybe. Whoa. You was
Wait, that's cute. Wait, how do you go back on your phone? That's cute.
Okay.
That's cute. I like that. That's really cute. I think that I'm gonna put it in D. You know what? Can we move?
No, okay.
Can we move the clown f***s down and put them in D?
Yeah. Here's the thing. Sans from Undertale. X Jevil is like not like I completely get it, but I'm like this is what dreams are made of. This is what this is about. Sans from Deltarune.
But what if it's the same Sans? We don't know. I think he could be. He took Grillby's with him. Everyone evacuated Grillby's.
I was gonna say that.
Trevor, we love you.
Shout out Trevor here.
Because Sans like loves jokes and Jevil's like chaos.
You gasped so excited because he loves jokes and he's the Joker.
Yes, I can kind of see it.
I can do anything.
I think I should put them above Asgore and Alphys.
I do think it's a little bit more intriguing. Anyone who makes more comics of this that aren't sexy, I've just looked it up enough. But anything fun, send it to us.
Yes.
Here's our email.
I don't understand this at all.
So, just like a lady.
I feel like this is just like, I want to see like a lady with a whip, like, dominate a little...
Does he have a whip or something
man.
like that?
He doesn't have a whip. He has like a scythe.
So is that they're just like angry and dangerous?
I think it's just like...
Ariana Grande and Ethan Slater kind of moment.
Have you seen the next one over? What the fuck's that about?
I don't even want to talk about that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't get F. Jockington and Ralsei.
No.
I just don't know why.
They're a little funny.
It could be...
It's a little funny.
Like...
Fuck this.
If chapter 4 is in the church and Jockington and Catty are there and Jockington interacts with Ralsei and it's funny, I could see it. Because
sure.
Ralsei is a kid, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Because
like, no, Ralsei's 35.
Yeah,
like,
because then the other ships we immediately have to put into F. Because
yeah, and I'd be like, Ralsei, that acid tunnel of love scene's a bit sus if you're like 25.
They've already been sus according to people who are like, that's your brother.
Well, to me, it is a little. We'll get to it. Okay. Gaster and Asgore.
No,
what's that about? I would like to see it.
Sophisticated turtle like evil man versus what fucking hench boy? Like what?
I would like to.
Oh wait.
I would like to see it because I think they're both hot.
Yeah,
but I think
this is going. Your full legal name is going on. This Clown House.
Stop. So this is interesting to me because I would want to be in the middle of it.
Sure,
but I don't think they're interesting by themselves.
Well, what are they gonna talk about?
He's like. Wait. Can you make an entry 17? No, that's not. Whatever entry it is, can you make the noise? Because I can't. I bet you could. It's like. No, it's not at all.
It's like I was gonna say porcupine. No.
I mean, the noise he makes when he disappears and he goes blue.
No, I have the noise. Hold on. You
do have the noise because we do send the noise. Yes. Do you think that's the noise he makes when he comes?
Yes.
He climaxes and he goes, what?
That's his reaction to most things.
Yeah. Well, that's his only reaction.
That's all.
That's all he does in the canon currently.
One loves child murder and one is like, if I must. So I don't know if they would
maybe.
get on.
I'm gonna put them at the top of F.
I know who's going further up in terms of the Skellington Brothers-esque family. Asgore and Sans.
Oh, true. Oh, we'll get to it.
The way you were like, who could it possibly
No,
be?
yeah. Them, I very much see as like a weird... Okay, so...
Weird, toxic yaoi.
Yes. It's like they both co-parent Lancer. And
One more so than the other.
Yes, and Rules has like a weird pining crush on King because he craves power.
That's just in the script, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying. Like, he craves power, but King is not interested in him. Yeah, sorry to them.
Sorry to them.
They're
no,
like,
I love you.
I love it.
They're like my aunties, but this actually is what Toby Fox wrote. This is super interesting.
Okay, so there is this one artist that I'll put... there's this one artist, this one, like, YouTuber who writes fics. I'll put it on the screen. I haven't read any, but I do know about it. And, like, obviously they never met, and they probably never will. But the interesting thing I think about it was, like, it's like, that, like, the ship kind of lands on is that they're parallels of each other.
Yes.
So I think that the point is that they can make each other better.
Here's a scenario that like really sticks out to me. Asgore is not denied parental rights in this universe where he like is unable to, but he's still divorced and he's not a part of their day-to-day life.
Kids.
Yeah. And to have that contrasted with like active like
Asgore would be such a good dad to Lancer.
Definitely.
Oh my god, that would be so sweet.
I know. And the idea of like Asgore being like, you are so lucky to be, because Lancer like idolizes him at the beginning.
Yeah.
And to be like, you're so lucky that not only does your child look up to you, you have and you fucked it. And he's like, oh my god. And that's what changes his ways. Kind of awesome.
Yeah, I really do see it. I think that they're in B.
I think they're in B. I would even argue that I like this slightly more than I like them.
No,
because this is canon, but this could be for the better.
And to me, King and Rules break up.
Well,
in a really traumatic way.
They have a really hot whatever they're having for a long time, but eventually, like, it has to part ways.
Yeah, no, it
must. Workplace relationship.
They are like...
But I will say this to people who are out there. I don't hate you for doing this.
No, I
get it. I just like
and she they even like imply they like say in that they're exes.
Yeah.
She's not Lance's mom. She's like Lance's stepmom, which is confusing. Like, who is Lance's mom?
Question mark.
So they are exes canonically, I think. From
as far as we're concerned.
Yeah. So like
next chapter. No. Wrong. So
loud and correct buzzer. C.
Probably.
It's low C.
Yeah.
It's
low.
It's behind. No, it's in front. It's behind Sans and Jebel.
Definitely.
I just think that this is kind of incest. Do I think that Ralsei is Asriel? No. Do I think Ralsei is Asriel's dust on some headband? No. It's an interesting theory. I'm not coming for Jaru. I genuinely love his videos, and but I don't think that is where it's going. You know what I mean? But I will say that I do think that this is I do think it's weirdly pseudo-incest. And I think any ship where you have to say technically it's not incest, you should just stop. I think that Ralsei's something going on is more for like the player than it is for Chris. And I also think that Chris isn't comfortable with this situation. And so I think that this is literally F. I don't think Chris hates Ralsei. I don't think that they have a bad friendship. I don't think that like it's Ralsei's a demon or anyone's like doing anything wrong necessarily yet. But I do think that them in a romantic relationship is not good. And I do think it's a little incest-y. I feel harsh putting it in F. D.
I don't think it's F necessarily. D for sure. It's definitely
D,
not
like
C.
Here.
Yeah.
Because I think the idea, like the themes they could bring to the table are interesting, but I just don't want them to actually be in a relationship.
Yeah. The dynamic is interesting enough. I don't think we need to mess around with that.
Okay, so Chris and I've forgotten her name. So
me and the freak emo girl in my class.
From what I understand, this is because they studied the occult together, right? And this is why people think that Chris might be possessed. It's not like big, but they know each other, and I guess it's just like the idea of having like the kind of grunge emo kid and then like the other like scene emo kid like be together. I don't think this is bad. If Chris was to get with anyone from school, it'd probably be we know. Play Birdly Steve music.
You know, B from Night in the Woods kind of thing.
Yes.
This would make sense.
Yes, that's what I see.
But But other than that,
It's such a good. If you love this ship, get into Night in the Woods and get into B and May.
trust, there's 5 of them and they all play it. I know it.
Yeah.
No! This is my Megalovania moment.
No.
Oh,
The magnum opus of the fandom.
are we gonna have to fight for our life for this? Because, sorry.
I feel like people have come round to Kerdly. And I think it is partially done to
Kerdly is such a disservice to them. Curd.
I love curd.
Oh, well, not everyone.
Like lemon curd? It's
curd
lovely.
as in like curded.
Okay. What else should we call it?
Human.
My brain was like human nugget. I don't know why. It's been like, oh my god, their ship name could be something to do with. Because what is Minecraft, isn't it? What they call. Because they play. Their whole thing is that
This is the worst one you could have picked.
They played Minecraft together. It's in the Spamton sweepstakes. Y'all know. And they played Minecraft together, and like Chris like trolled Birdly, and he like freaked out.
Minecraft ship.
So their ship name is Minecraft.
We can't because there's some bitch from will be like, are you referencing
Okay, we're gonna get doxxed. We're gonna get doxxed.
That's whatever. If you're still there, then we probably find me then. Find me. I'll talk to you. No, you know what we should do?
We'll help you.
Like back in the day when they would be like, back in the day.
4 years ago.
Find one with like glasses and whatever Chris has going on.
Ship names would have this kind of like you can have like the normal one and then like the fancy one that's like cute.
We tried.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I'm sure there is one. People would be like, you mean this? And it would be like a thing that we were.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
What if it's
anyway,
Minecraft? Anyway,
S. Maybe. Okay.
Thirdly, they have a really, really good dynamic.
Do I have to also fight for my life?
Will you be the breeze under my wings? The newsletter.
True.
Birdly better be talking to Chris, otherwise I'm
Wait,
my life.
side tangent about Valentine's Day. Can I say something not related to Deltarune for a second?
Yes.
Arcane ones came out. All of them had really funny ones. Isha one. No text.
What?
Mute.
I haven't watched it.
Genderless child. Do I have to fight for my life for this one?
No. Okay, here's the thing. When we're talking about Chriselle, we're talking. I think that we should talk more about Snowgrave than like just normal.
For sure.
Because normal Chriselle, I can see it being cute because like they're childhood friends, and like Noelle's like Chris knows me like no one else, and I can be weird in front of Chris. But we'll talk more about Snowgrave just because that's where the dynamic gets a lot more interesting. Now, should they be in a romantic relationship? Like, no, but is their dynamic super, 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 super interesting? Absolutely.
One of the most, aside from Berliners.
So I would say this is S tier.
Wow.
I know it's toxic and I know it's not good, and I'm not saying that I want them to be together, but it is really, really interesting.
Okay, I'm glad you said that. Here's my piece.
It makes me uncomfortable deeply. Maybe it shouldn't be an SA.
He yelled that into the microphone.
Like, no.
And I think post Snowgrave, one of the most interesting dynamics from the protagonist.
And here's the thing, I think it's gonna swing, because do I think that, okay, I'm not one of those people that thinks that Noelle and...
Cats are swinging.
I don't think that Noelle and Susie is toxic. I'm gonna put that out there.
Yeah.
I think that it's just like, you're 13 and you have a crush. So that, I'm gonna get to that, but...
Sure.
Noelle's whole thing is that she likes the fact that Susie is like scary, and that's why that she's like attracted to her or whatever at first, especially when she like sees Susie bullying Chris and she doesn't do anything.
She's kind of like,
and she's like, wish that was me. Yeah. With how scared Noelle is of Chris by the end of Snowgrave, like especially like in the hospital scene, does that mean that Noelle is gonna start to like Chris?
Yeah, toxic hearing.
I feel like that's gonna happen.
I kind of like it. I do. I think it should. Sorry to the woke agenda. I think it should be an A. Aside from their awesome.
Should it be above the milk?
Oh no, like absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry. This we can make, but this is happening. This actually is happening. Sorry. To me at least.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that's what a relationship should be, but it's just interesting.
It's just fun.
Yeah, it's
just fun to see on screen. I wouldn't recommend it to the next person.
It happens to young queer people
all the time. And I think it's really interesting. I think it's super like, I love the idea that Noelle seeks this out like in Susie, but but then it gets like thrust
It's-
upon her, and
yeah.
she's just like,
And because Susie's
holy
not
shit.
actually scary.
Yeah.
Noelle has kind of put the idea of Susie being scary onto Susie because everyone is always like, Susie's so scary. Whereas Susie actually isn't. Obviously, Chris isn't choosing to do Snowgrave, but they still open the dark fountain after.
yeah.
So what's that about? You know what I mean?
exactly. And Noelle must be having such like a
Yeah.
insert Mr. Evangelion here.
We need to do an essay about Noelle and the lack of choice, because think about it like this: she has no choice in the fact that her mom is just like so cold towards her. Her sister just disappears. Her dad seemingly comes down with some illness.
He's
or
gonna
whatever.
die.
He's gonna die. She has no choice. The choice is slipping, and then like she also has no choice. She gets kind of like manipulated into this choice. Chris also has no choice. The only person who has choice in this situation is us as the player. But even then, the choice that we are choosing is creating a lack of choice for the characters.
Yeah.
That's so profound, Toby Fox. You're a genius.
Are you listening? In this moment, we are God.
My brain.
I am
is
become
so
death.
good. And Gast is like giggling from the code or whatever. I genuinely enjoy the dynamic between Susie and Rousey. I really like it.
Love it.
I don't know.
I
if that's
love
just
it.
Me. I really, really like
I
it.
love
I
it.
even somewhat prefer it to the dynamic between Rousey and Chris. I'm not even talking romantic now.
Absolutely.
And the only reason I say that is because I think the dynamic between Rousey and Chris, I think it's very sweet that Rousey is so kind towards Chris, but I think that he does a lot of like people pleasing, which is not his fault, but I think that he does kind of less of that with Susie, because in chapter 1 he was always like, Susie, you need to stop being a tormentor or whatever. So they have a friendship, but it's like built up naturally, where Rousey and Chris's friendship is just Rousey trying to like be like, do whatever you want, stand on the ground and let you spit on me or whatever. Stand on the ground and let you spit on me. See it as anything but platonic.
Maybe, okay, you know what? You yucked my yum? No. You yucked the yum, and anything to do with them and Rousey is already like D or
A little
F.
scary, yeah.
I will put it like here adjacent, because I'm not a hater.
No.
I like their dynamic.
They're like,
But the heart, yeah.
they're like,
But I'm not finding, and I'm not hoping for anything.
I think Susie would just have to be a mediator.
See.
Really?
Yeah.
Is this Snowgrave or just normal? This is just
That's the
normal.
problem.
I feel like this is just normal.
This would be normal, and everything that I like here would not be applicable here, because
No, it's not.
it would be Noelle projecting this third thing, like the idea that she has about Susie, that is really not it, would be kind of just like this perpetual cycle, and with the lack of like, it's like a cute high school thing, obviously. I'm not negating that.
It's like baby's first gay.
I do want to preface this again. I know this should be obvious. Chris is genderless.
You know, Chris is non-binary. We believe that.
So that's out
Whenever
there.
we're saying anything like toxic Yuri or toxic Yaoi with any character, that we don't.
It's just
It's the phrase of it.
It's the
not,
phrase of
we're
it
not
all.
Like Chris is a girl or Chris is a boy. Like no, that's
Yeah.
stupid. Chris is non-binary, and then dox me if you want. But that's just true.
Find me here.
Just fucking
Pull the address up here.
It's just true. And if you have a problem with that, don't play Deltarune. I think
Relationship?
they're both going for Susie in this.
But they are both going for Susie. Yeah.
And I think that
And wait, actually, you said that, instantly bumped it up. Wait. That is so true.
Yeah.
Hear me out. Absolutely one of those like, oh, you crazy kids, where Noelle has very specific things towards Susie and a comfort with Chris, so it feels natural.
It feels
but then it becomes something, this other thing, not necessarily toxic, but like,
it's just confusing because they're teenagers and they're having.
oh my god, it would be fucking, all of this would smell of hormones.
This has happened.
This is the game.
Everyone who is 13 and like queer in some way and is having like a crush on someone who's also queer for the first time, who also has a queer platonic relationship with someone that could also mean a secret third thing, has been in a dynamic like this.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I think, that's pretty beautiful. It sometimes can end badly, but I think it's pretty beautiful. I think it's a way of life, so I do think it is in B.
Absolutely.
But I think it's realistic.
Okay, I'm gonna say something. We are going to move this, I know, but I will just share my feelings with the class. Dox me if you want. Pull the address up again.
Really?
Cuff me up, Russia. Arrest me, Russia.
We've spoke about this. We spoke about this because I was like, so do you prefer? Actually, maybe we shouldn't. No. We'll say it, and we'll move
Tweak
stuff around.
it or edit this whole
Do you
clip out.
prefer? Do you prefer Chris and Susie to Susie and Noelle? It's fine if you do. People do. It's fine.
It's
your opinion.
okay. Well, here's the thing. I knew it would bring that up, and I don't even think that is necessarily interchangeable. I think, first of all, both could exist on that same tier, but between these two, I think I do. But here's the thing. I think it would go Chris Noel first before it would get to Chris and Susie.
I find Chris and Noel more interesting than Chris
Story-wise.
and Susie and Susie and Noel.
Wow.
But that's
really?
and that's not even just Snowgrave. I find them more interesting even without Snowgrave.
Well, first of all, I already know it's gonna go downhill. But
I mean, it doesn't have
it's not an ass.
The thing is, I understand Chris and Susie because I think what is really beautiful about it is that I don't think Susie is oblivious or something, but I think that she just doesn't realize that people actually like her, and she has to put up this front of being like, I am a bully, I am what you think, or like, don't mess with me because whatever. And I love the idea that Chris literally is so like, you won't. Like in Spamton Sweepstakes when they're like, they just laugh when Susie threatens them and Susie gets freaked out and leaves. I love that. Not only is that a little creepy, but it's also just like so, first off, that's so me in high school, but also there's just something interesting there. And also obviously there's the implied crush. I just really like tragic stuff, so I think I'm just a little sick and twisted in the head, but I kind of really like the idea of Chris having an unrequited crush on Susie. I do really like
that was a huge part of it, absolutely.
And I think that and I'm not saying that they shouldn't get together or Susie couldn't love Chris back. I just think that there's something beautiful about that.
Better. You know what like sold me is that which I know is more like about like Susie being tragic, Susie being at Chris's house and that dynamic. Else the only most the most there, understanding and most realistic, most real.
It's because they're us.
Yeah.
That's why we like them.
Fuck yeah. That's actually what it is.
We're like they get each other like no one else. Even if it's romantic or not, they truly understand each other.
They're always parallel, right next to each other while everything else is happening.
So they're like here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So next. F.
Yeah, what's that about?
F.
Yeah.
And I will just preemptively F.
Yes.
I'm not.
So
I don't.
Etaton and rules.
Okay, so ask me 6 years ago, I would have been like,
that's hot, but there's nothing else.
there's nothing else. One is like, and the other one's like preposterous.
Yes.
If you like that, awesome. There's nothing else.
2 people cosplayed it and then took like crazy good, like kind of slightly promiscuous photos.
People's OnlyFans of this goes so hard.
Yeah. So this is Spamton and Mike. Mike is.
We actually can't. That's crazy.
That's toxic Yowie. That's awesome.
But yeah.
The toxic Yowie.
And it's
Where
gone
did
forever.
he go?
There he is.
Well, that's toxic Yowie. I would put that in like. I would put that high B.
Heidi.
Heidi?
Heidi.
No. No. Yeah, high B. I would put that above Asgore and Toriel.
We just said it's sacred.
The thing, okay, listen. I just really, really like Toxic Yowie. I like the fact that Mike mentally broke Spamton.
Never met the guy.
Well, I know we don't meet him, but like Spamton says his name like 3 times.
So into this concept, you never met the guy, and you're gonna put him over our sacred Asgore and Toriel.
But they're like toxic and sad. This is toxic and like psychological torture.
Are we even sure he's mentally capable of being in a relationship?
Well,
That's the closest I'll put it.
Okay. Yeah.
I can't.
Okay,
It has to be literally like Sans plus me for it to be like any
well,
with
Sans
it.
and either
That
of
would
us
be
is
an S, first of all,
That's
so-
S. We love Sans.
Okay.
No. Romantically, this is like the only ship on this tier list that canonically they both have stated they don't have feelings for each other.
No.
Rules and Jevil. It would Rules go down to the basement to see Jevil?
Or would Jevil go up and break out of prison to go see
Go and see Rules.
to be one? Because he would suck as a step dad, and I hate
suck.
him. I'm kidding.
You
This
don't
is a
hate him,
joke.
you're just scared of him.
Scared of his motif. Controversial. He's not gonna lean down for him.
He's not gonna lean down for him.
He's gonna be like,
Well,
because what if he's gonna
float and fly? He can do anything. I can do anything. Including fucking men.
Yeah, but
he can... I'm not getting into that.
Next.
This one I love. Do you
do.
know about this? And like Catty is like, Chris, you have to protect Noelle. Noelle is the light. Catty has a crush on Noelle. I'm gonna die on that hill. That's true.
Do you think she would help or fix her is the question.
No, I think they would have...
Worse.
I think they would have a relationship.
Do you think Noelle is going into that relationship as a fresh, new relationship or seeking something that she wants with Susie, but she can't have?
I do think it's the first one.
Yes!
These fucking
Oh my god, F.
That's twin.
Sorry.
Twincest.
Twincest. That's the same guy. That's self-zest, if anything. Oh, it's supposed to be like, okay, for the people who
wait, that's actually really awesome.
For the people who love Metaton and Papyrus, they ate with this Yuri thing.
People who love Metaton and Papyrus want me. You're gonna call me out like that?
You love it?
I think that's cute.
Spoken about this romantically.
I think romantically it's beautiful.
I think it's...
I think that they would they would be really cute and hold hands a lot, and I think that's lovely.
No, I think he would be so fucking... Oh, sorry. Metaton and him.
Yes. No,
okay, yeah, Rose... He would be so fucking mean to him. He'd be like, you are an...
No, but think about it like
this.
this.
Is an imbecile.
Youth is a worm is stupid. But think about it like this. Papyrus... I was gonna say God rest his soul.
God rest
Toby,
his
let me
soul.
see Papyrus. He's the best character. But anyway, Papyrus.
He's Gaster here.
Papyrus is like, I am good at this thing. Well, Papyrus has a lot of nuance. I think he knows deep down that he's not good at this thing. But we're not gonna get into Papyrus. We're not gonna get into Papyrus's character arc in the minute and his fake positivity, which I definitely think he has. But Rules also is like, I think Rules genuinely does believe he's good at stuff and he actually fucking isn't. And I think that dynamic of...
Oh, that's awesome actually, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So I think that they could be in B. As a good crack ship, it's really good.
Crack ship, put a title over it, crack ship.
Crack ship, but it's good.
Okay, listen.
No, this is cool because
this is awesome.
This is male wife and like dominant.
And then he would be like, thou hast the audacity. She'd be like,
where's the bit where there's the bit where she is like with King and she's like, do you want anything to him or something? And he's like, King, Queen has a new man around the town. And she's like, and King's like, who? And Queen's also like, who? And he's like, oh.
Love it.
And I love it. So they fucked and she's not into
Sorry,
it.
I want to be in it.
It's exactly your type of thing that you like.
That is, in fact, I would,
Exactly
if controversially, I put it in S.
Exactly what
Just
you
for the lack of dialogue, it has to say in A.
It's exactly what you like. I think
She would never.
Toria would really stand on like a high. She'd be like, well, I'm such a better mother than her.
Absolutely. And she would...
But she wouldn't be mean about it. She would just be like, oh dear.
Yeah, she would be very... Yeah. And Queen would be like, lol.
Queen would just not notice and be like, lol, dab.
Dab, potassium. Or whatever she says.
I'll say I'm Noelle. That would be so weird. Imagine like seeing someone who looks like exactly like your older sister's best friend and then dating them. Ralsei and Birdly. Why is that kind of funny?
This is awesome, actually.
This could work.
Because here's the thing. Aside from the obvious...
Right.
With Susie, she'll just be like, shut the fuck up. And Noelle will just be like,
no.
Okay, anyway.
You know what I think this is? I think this is just a worse... It doesn't mean it's bad, but it's a worse version of Kerdly. That's why we like it.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like, Rossi has this, like, good and all. With the Kerdly thing that I like is as much as the leniency and the, like, leaning into it, there is a certain, like, eye roll to it.
Yeah.
With Rossi, it's just, like, fully leaning, like... Okay, if you say so. I'm not saying Birdley doesn't have morals, that's not what I mean. But with him, if he's just like, put tits on that, he'll be like, fine.
Okay, well, we started off with this by saying that we kind of get it.
Birdley will become a super villain with him, I think.
I would put it in C and I'd put it here.
Right behind the cops?
The cops. Romantically, no.
No, the dynamic is awesome. I love it.
Is
Flavorful.
Awesome. Romantically, no. Romantically, it's like D. Oh, well, they're awesome, I guess. They don't really do much, so maybe they should go here.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like on the same level as...
I love y'all, but Deltarune didn't do you any
What
services.
the fuck's this about?
Right.
Is he gonna fuck that little thing?
I don't need
Is
to
that a
know.
gumdrop?
I need to know. Wow.
So, Sans and Alphys is a little strange.
I can't say I've never thought about this because Deltarune. No.
In Deltarune they do know each other, but in Undertale I think it's a little bit more spicy because it's implied that they have, like, I don't know, done some kind of crazy science thing together.
Yeah.
So I think that in Undertale it would possibly be a little bit higher. As like a weird...
In Deltarune, it's like, okay.
It's like they know each other, I think. But like, who cares, really?
You're the teacher of the MILF that I slept with.
Yes.
Yeah, awesome.
You're my...
So for him, that's great, but for Alphys, it's kind of like, ew.
Who is this?
Who's that man?
He's not Alphys' type at all.
Not even close.
Like, her crush on Undyne and Asgore is very telling.
Very telling. Very clocked.
Because she's just like me for real.
Yeah.
Like, I completely get it. And I have a crush on Sans, but that's because I'm built a little bit different to Alphys. She has a very specific type, and it is not Sans.
Yep.
Because Sans is literally, like, he makes... Like, you look at him and he makes, like, a... You know that, like, really sad, like, horn noise? It's like, That's Sans. The villager Minecraft noise. And she'd be like, Jesus.
No, I got this. This AU, I know for a fact they go to like the same pub, they go to the same they go to something the same where they just have just enough in common.
Sans would go to the gay bar with Alphys.
Yes.
The gay bar in hometown.
The gay bar in hometown.
Is it
Where
run
Toriel
by-
dare not even speak what I don't know the name of. They're both
Alphys is such a touch. I think people either like woobify her or villainize her so much for no reason.
Yeah.
To me, Alphys is just like tired bisexual. She isn't like a hero, but she isn't a villain. She's just a person.
Bro, she's just a guy.
She's just there, and she just likes to read like yaoi and like go home and like drink hot chocolate. She's awesome, and I love Alphys. And I think that their dynamic as friends is awesome, but they're just really awesome friends.
They're awesome friends.
Yeah, they're both bisexual and they're both just fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
I know. I'm not gonna argue with this. Everybody and their mother.
If Jevel is the one that like sliced Shorm's face in half and gave them the scar and the button eye, that makes it even more awesome to
Hot.
me. Yeah, like Toxic, we love it.
I would argue.
Toxic Yuri, we love it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I thought they were brothers.
I also thought they were brothers.
So I can't
don't-
unsee it.
I don't think they are, but I also don't really care about them as characters. The video that I watched that inspired us to do this. Well, I haven't seen it, but I was like, we have to do this because it just looks so fun. Someone in that video hates them so much. I don't hate them necessarily.
Tag them here.
But I just don't care about them. I don't need to see them again.
So for me, I'm like, they fuck. They fuck. They're a gag.
Yeah, to me I don't know.
They're best buds / brothers.
They seem like brothers to me. Soriel.
Soriel, he fucked her
With a toothbrush.
allegedly. He fucked me with a toothbrush. We're
Okay.
just bringing this up in our dialogue. Third time I'm saying this out loud. The past.
I wasn't a hater, but I didn't like this back when I was 12. in
Very
Undertale.
controversial to say.
I really didn't like it, and it wasn't because I shipped anything more than it. I just didn't. I think I just wanted Sans for myself. Is what was going
Very
on.
true.
A little bit.
Let me be honest.
No.
Really?
No,
I'm talking Deltarune.
I have since turned round on this.
In Deltarune.
Yes.
Explain.
I have turned around on this. I think that their dynamic is more awesome in Deltarune than it is in Undertale. Because in Undertale,
What?
it's just very sweet, and it's like they knock to each other through the door.
What dynamic is there in Deltarune between them?
Sans is being a little bit like a MILF hunter, to be honest. Then I also like the line where he implies that he's also had sex with Asgore. So I really
is
like the
why.
idea that separately they are coming into his store and he's flirtatiously joking with them. And Chris is just kind of there in like the aisle being like, Jesus Christ. And they maybe both would bring Sans like they don't necessarily know, but they would bring sounds like a bouquet of flowers and then see each other and be like, that's weird, I guess we both just wanted to visit Sans. I love that. I would put Soriel with my headcanon in mind of that literally an A. It would be an A.
I was hoping it would be lower.
And to me, this is like ped because my headcanon is what I just explained, so they go.
All right, well, for me, they thought.
Oh yeah, well I am Sans from Undertale, so Sans and Alphys kind of having beers, being like, can I be honest about something? And like Alphys is like, what? And Sans is like, don't you think the dude that runs the flower shop is so fucking hot? And Alphys is like, what I'm saying, like. And I was like, I teach his kid. And Sans is like, no. Alphys also has a crush on Toriel, canonically. So they both have crushes on Toriel and asgore, and they're both just kind of like,
what do we do now?
What the hell's this about? So this is just Toriel x evil asgore. Asgore, if he actually did love killing children. So that's bad.
So definitely.
So like F. Spamton and Queen. I just think this is bad. This is F.
Yeah.
Now, Spamton and
no, this is not
Jevel. So to me, I think Toby Fox was clearly trying to make a joke about them being exes, and I think that this is funny as hell, and I think that this goes here.
Yeah, I knew you would say that.
Can I be honest?
What? Really?
Is that bad?
Well, no, Toby Fox is gonna get us.
No, I think Toby can write it and continue to write it so that it goes into S. Ferris wheel scene is really cute, and when like Noelle checks for Susie's tail after she wakes up is really, really cute.
This is interesting.
This is interesting because I would say that this would be completely unfair on Catty.
Fully.
Because
they wouldn't give a
because Noelle would just be so zoomed in on Susie.
Yeah, and as the dynamic, it would be really fun to see play out in the trauma and drama of it all. But it would end so badly, but I don't even think it's enough. It would be like, here.
What the hell is this
about?
Ew. No. So...
I don't want to see it. I don't care enough. Love it.
No, okay. I don't care. The way these are the only two S tiers, are we okay? Like, what's happening?
What are we seeking from this game?
I don't know. Stuff that's not there.
Some stuff that's never going to be happening.
What is going on
Skis
here?
away.
Skis away. Swatch is kind of a... People do think he's sexy. Mm-hmm. And I do see it. Yeah. I think he's kind of sexy. I think he's sexy with Spamton.
Well, those are crack. Those are crack.
That's crack.
That's crack. Wow, look at them like leaning on each other here.
Let's just do these quickly. So this is C. This, I don't care. Oh, wait, doesn't he hire her?
With each other? Like, what would you think would be happening?
Maybe it should go in D then.
Wait, maybe I love it, actually.
Hey, this is just like boring without Spamton. This, actually.
This is kind of awesome.
This kind of A.
Wait, give me a second to marinate in this.
That could be there. And then in this one, it probably goes
A. Yeah. I love it.
It's S. So Star Walker and Nubert is a little...
The most
so far.
Creme de la creme of C, but still C.
I think it would be funny. Like, I think if they were like, oh, and they're also gay lovers. They're just
What kind of unrequited let's get together then?
Paddington maybe does have a crush on Catty, I could see that, but Catty's a lesbian.
Catty is a lesbian.
So I think that this isn't gonna work.
Unless this is her first, like, do I like men? And then she's like...
And then he does that weird thing that he does whenever he speaks, and he just like wobble wobble, and she's like, Jesus, no, I don't.
I hate it.
And Alphys.
Hate it, actually.
I love it in the sense of Alphys having a crush on Toriel. I don't want them to date.
Yeah, the same how much as I hate here asgore and Alphys.
They're there. They would go above that.
They would go above it, for sure.
Is Undyne not a lesbian and also sees Asgore as her dad?
Yeah, Loki who made this chart.
What the f*** is this?
Yeah, I saw this coming and I was like, how are we gonna approach this topic?
This is pedophilia. He looks like he's about to eat them. Nom!
What are we looking at here? Does anyone have pins of them, like, goes to Comic-Con with them, be like, ship it, love it?
No, this is a workplace relationship that's inappropriate.
Yeah, like with Queenie and King, it's kind of like she whips him into shape enough that it could turn into be like, what are we? They Try Guys so
Where are we putting
He's like, those things that you're. She just slaps it.
Susie and Birdley is not good.
Not gonna happen.
Not good at all. It's not gonna happen.
Don't put them in the same room together. Even she's gonna.
No, like I know that he thinks that he has a crush on her, but he's doing the same thing he did with Noelle.
Yeah.
This is toxic, but I love it.
What will they speak about?
It's not about speaking. It's about
Tension.
It's about Gaster breaking Spamton's mind.
That was crazy. Tomorrow, Toby Fox comes out that this is true. You'll be like, what?
I'd be like, I have something to tell you. Takes my mask off. I am Toby Fox.
You wrote this. You wrote his Twitter.
Yeah, and I have read Homestuck.
That's
I'm
so
sorry.
generous.
I'm toxic.
What are they toxic about?
He was there mentally when he was talking to Gaster on the phone, and then Gaster broke his mind. And
Pre is awesome.
Pre is awesome because
Fair enough.
it's Gaster breaking Spamton.
Great.
Allegedly, I guess.
I love the idea of Chris going around town. I don't want to know.
And I assume this is because you're like, who the f*** is that?
This is like a Lovecraftian forever demon, and Ralsei's like a 10-year-old.
That is true.
I love boys that look like this. Oh, I love the fact that he's such a little asshole about everything. Like, break your mind.
Jules is so annoying and so like pompous about everything that it just brings Spamton back to normal.
Also, his ex ruined him so much that whatever he has going on, he's just like, you ain't shit, you ain't even a fart.
He is obsessed with the player and possibly in love with us. So this is basically Gaster X us. You think it's an S?
Next.
You just want to...
This was...
Obsessed with us. I don't want it to be confirmed that if this is kind of where it's going, I don't want him to be like, I'm in love with you, but I want him to be like, I'm just obsessed with you. When Burger Pants was like, and then there's the blue guy, and he doesn't understand personal space, and he's always spilling drinks on me and then giggling to himself, and I'm like, what's that about? Because I read that instantly as he has a crush on you. Nice Pants, I genuinely do believe is peak, and people are sleeping on peak. There's something
They feel like home. Those are our 3 S tiers.
I also want to say this now. Susie and Noelle, they are an A for a reason. I do really, really like them. Like, we are being harsh. And I do really, really like Susie.
Okay, aside from like really crazy ships, which are at the bottom, which are like, it's not we hate everything that's not S. They're all really high up there in terms of our opinion. It's more so S is like, this has to happen or I'm killing somebody. No, they're all our fan fiction, but they have more validity. They hold more water than others.
Yeah.
The Gaster Monica one being that high up is really funny to me.
And yes, I did edit that photo by myself.
You did?
I did. I edited that.
You're so talented.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then these 2 are like popular YouTube theories, and this is just being deranged.
Yeah, the top
S
3
tier is being
is literally
deranged.
just like, we have like weird like,
obsessions with these people.
with like the idea
With Yaoi, allegedly.
like,
That's true.
it's gay but not necessarily yaoi.
And just like projecting now. I'm like, and also this character.
Trust me, we're like 20. We're overall, we need to see men kiss phase. Like,
Yeah.
it's gone.
In fact, what was
I kiss men in real life and you're not interested.
I'm not looking. If anyone disagrees with it, write us an email.
It's fine, just explain in the comments why you like a certain ship and maybe you'll convince me.
Yeah, and also
you.
come to my house.
Well, you don't have to do that. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for listening. I love you.
I love you. Parasocial.